Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and more, because I want to be able to splatter more hope and happiness on you on more of the major networks and more of the major platforms, because there's just so much bad news out there, man. It's really depressing. I guarantee you, if you start your day scrolling your phone, you're not going to want to get out of bed because there just isn't any good news. Even the good news is sort of better than the bad news that's really bad news. It's sort of bad news, but not good news. So I'm so glad that you're tuned in here, because every morning at 8 a.m., I am determined to bring you good news and educational news and some fun fact news, as I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. You know, there's like national holidays every single day. And today is October 8th. And today is actually National Pierogi Day. So in my effort to promote the deliciousness of life, I'm asking you to try a pierogi if you've never tried one. My mom was actually adopted by a Russian Jewish woman, my grandma, Anna Blum. She used to make pierogies, and they were very good. And she's in heaven now. But I'm on a campaign for everyone to try diverse foods in order to appreciate diversity even more. I know that diversity is way more than just food. However, it's a start. And the more we can embrace differences, and the more we can embrace differences in food, which capture the deliciousness of life, the better we'll be able to like and value differences with people, places, and things. Get it? All right. So it is also International Off-Road Day. So anyone who does off-roading and has fun with that. I had one friend, Erica, who enjoyed that. Other than that, I've not tried that. Maybe I should try that, because I love trying everything once. Marriage, divorce, one older kid, one younger kid. You get what I'm talking about. All right. And then finally, it's National Hero Day. So who is your hero? If you haven't heard my interview with Bruno Serrato, he was CNN's hero of the day. Just to shine a little light on him and his work. He is a wonderful man from Italy who opened this restaurant called the Anaheim, or the White House, not the White House in Washington. It's the White House restaurant in Anaheim, which has amazing food. It has the best. What was I eating the other day? Well, everything is really good at his restaurant, but we do our Asian Women Entrepreneur Luncheon every year. And he was the CNN Hero of the Year because he feeds motel kids in Anaheim. So this is an area that we need to probably take a look at, because there's a lot of amusement parks in Anaheim. And why is it that these companies are making a whole lot of money, and the people who work at the parks are not making so much money that they have to live in motels where there are no kitchens? So Bruno gets my Hero of the Day award because he not only has a great restaurant, he supplies, now I think it's up to 1 million hot pasta meals to the children there. And not only does he do that, he took the next step in his helping in a program that if you, there's certain qualifications, they will help you develop credit enough to buy an actual home. So for that, Bruno, you get my National Hero of the Day award today. So if you're in Southern California, please go and support him. You can bring pasta to him so that he now cooks it. And he did that in loving memory of his mom, Katerina, which is also beautiful. So, Bruno, thank you for what you do. I already gave you the Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award, so you don't get another one of those. But since it's National Hero Day, I wanted to spotlight you for that. And you also know that I do on-location work as a beat reporter for my New York news agency. And I came across a story that helped me understand how this stupid oil spill could still happen in Huntington Beach last week that I also covered. And it canceled the air show. That was so amazing. If you haven't been on my social media, I have clips of that. Doc Balance on Instagram, Dr. Marissa everywhere else, but it canceled the third day, which was really horrible. How can we still have oil spills if we did pass the law that no new oil leases are allowed? So I got to speak with an activist who was there at the rally, and I'm putting a little bit of that on so you also can be educated as far as what we need to do as the public to help make sure that these things don't happen again. Here they are. Enjoy.
Okay, the rhetoric is we've banned offshore drilling, right? But we haven't. They continue, all these leases, we've had no new leases in 40 years, but the existing leases continue to have new drilling wells on them. And they keep drilling and they're fracking out there. They're dumping the waste out there.
Good afternoon, this is Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah, reporting live for Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And I have a gentleman here who is helping me understand what's going on and why we have beaches closed with fuel leak. So if you could introduce yourself and tell me why you're here.
Yeah, my name's Jack Eit. I'm with SoCal 350 Climate Action. We're a local Southern California climate action organization, basically, and I'm an urban planner too. And I've been working on fossil fuels. We've been advocating for a long time that we need to transition off of fossil fuels. We need to stop drilling on land as well as offshore. And this is just another example of the dangers that every day we're facing dangers. We're facing dangers from climate change, which is completely transmogrified the map in terms of how the climate is malfunctioning and how people are suffering. Agriculture is failing. We've got wildfires, we've got superstorms. But also there's the impact of the drilling itself. It destroys ecosystems in the actual drilling part. The offshore thing, we have these platforms that have been out there for years. We've stopped new leases for over 40 years. Yes, and both the state and the federal government have agreed to stop new leases, but unfortunately we have many of these leases that are legacy leases that they continue to drill new wells, and they continue to be permitted by both the state and the federal governments to drill new wells from these existing facilities that use very aging infrastructure. That's what the pipeline that was damaged. These are aging infrastructure. Also, the oil that they're drilling here is really, it's this thick crude. It's really low quality.
And damaging to the most damaging.
Corrosive,
okay.
Extremely corrosive. It requires a significant amount of processing. It's kind of like Canadian tar sands. It's some of the worst stuff on the planet. Only because of subsidies are they able to even mine this stuff, because it's very low quality. Right. We need to move away from fossil fuels. We have alternatives. And
now, what do you say to people who say, climate change really isn't a big deal? It's made up by people want us to be in fear. What do you say to that?
Well, all we have to do is look at our mountains in California that, the sequoias are burning right now. I was just up in Montana. They haven't had rain in about 2 months. They've had massive fires throughout Oregon. We've got sea level rise happening because, of course, the glaciers are melting. The melting of the glaciers is changing the global weather systems. So basically, we're seeing totally different weather. Right now we have had very little rain here.
Could you hold this?
Yeah. We've had very little rain this year, and it's not a drought per se. This is the new normal. We're facing, because what happened, there's this ridiculously resilient ridge of high pressure, which is blocking the usual storms that come south into California. So we've got the problem of the climate is totally changing, and we've got the impacts from that. Now agriculture is starting to fail in all different locations, and of course you go further south into the Caribbean, into the global south, the superstorms, the massive storms that they're doing.
You'd basically be like stupid if you think that
Well,
it's a...
you're
Sorry,
just...
I'm not calling
Yeah,
people
you're
that,
denying... Well, you're denying science, you're denying reality, and you're also stopping us moving forward. Like the companies that are addicted to and making money off this oil that is now fouling these beaches in Southern California, they just need to move on. And you know what? There's ways that they can move on. This company, Amplify, has been gone into bankruptcy multiple times. They're dealing with a completely outmoded industry.
And that's partial
Yeah,
to
and-
the oil spill. So it comes out of outdated,
Exactly.
and no regulation at all.
And they get more desperate in the way they are mining. So they're using fracking. They're using these extreme drilling extraction techniques, which are extremely damaging to these ecosystems. They dump all the waste right at these
So
drilling rigs.
What can we do as the general public?
We need to step up and all come together and agree. Right now, there are multiple ways to do clean energy, clean renewable energy. Now, we can't replace every drop of fossil fuel with clean renewable energy. That means we need to change the way we get around. We need to use mass transit, public transit, get out into bikes, live our lives differently, and make some sacrifices. But people who say the economy has to suffer, it doesn't. It just needs to be reoriented. And those workers in this fossil fuel economy can transition, and governments can spend to retrain people and to get people into a more productive way of leading their life, green energy across the board, and this is how we get to where we need to get going. And while we continue to deny reality, we push further down the line. It becomes more and more expensive, not only the cost to fix things, but the cost to clean up and the cost to recover our ecosystems. We survive off these ecosystems.
Right. Well,
So,
thank you so much.
Thanks
for your time and your education. And we definitely need this. This is what I do at the end of every show. Peace in. Can you do it with me? Peace in,
Yes.
peace out.
And peace to
World
everyone.
peace through inner peace. Thank you.
And I hope you learned a little from that. I hope you also join forces and help put a little pressure on our government to continue to do more so that oil spills that absolutely demolish and interrupt and hurt our ecosystems with our the wildlife that is all around us, we need to help protect. Yes? Okay, good. And that's it for the What's Up Doc segment here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. Don't go away. When we come back, I have a special treat for you because it is going into the weekend and I'm using it as an excuse to talk about pleasure. Now, for those of you who have been my loyal listeners for the last 9 years, thank you so much. You know that when I was just on once a week in the afternoon, I did a special series every last week of the month. It was called Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa. And why I did that was 2 reasons. One is I wanted to make pleasure a G-rated topic. And why did I want to do that? Because I believe that because we are not comfortable talking about pleasure, no thanks to religion, no thanks to a number of other influences, to talk about pleasure is somehow wrong and dirty. And it's not. Pleasure, like delicious food, is one of the gifts of life and part of our birthright to happiness. To be happy 88% of the time. You know that part about my work. So I wanted on a regular basis on my show to spotlight funny and informative and pleasure-oriented topics. So I actually have a playlist on my YouTube channel that you can free subscribe at called Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa. We had condom research. We have also, sexual addiction. So anything to do with pleasure and sex, which is an important part of life. So I wanted to bring you the spotlight interview from that playlist. And this is one of my favorite shows in that playlist, is when I actually got to ask guys what men want. So when we come back, you're going to hear that spotlight interview in 2 parts and enjoy. All right, don't go away. You're tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC channel, KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back, and you're tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including my YouTube channel, where you'll also get not only the past 500 plus shows, after 9 years on the air, after 491 consecutive weeks. You can also get my red carpet playlist with my interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Corey Feldman, Lieutenant Uhura, and of course, he's on the other side now, one of my favorite people on the planet, Frank Shankwitz, who's co-founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation. So please subscribe on my YouTube channel for all those shows and more. And as promised, I'm showing you the spotlight interview of my panel of men to describe what men want. Please enjoy.
When we address one of those things that absolutely influences your hope and happiness, and that is sex, pleasure. And so this special series called Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa was started about a year ago. And I have to say it's one of my most favorite series, because I can talk about sex in a very positive way. And I think it's important that we do, because otherwise, if we don't talk about it, it's left to that dark side and the underground side. And the only thing that kids these days seem to learn about sex and pleasure is through porn or their peers. Neither P is the best. So I wanted not necessarily to talk about this for the kids, but when we as adults can start talking about it in a safe way. And I'm determined to make pleasure a G-rated topic or a G-spot rated topic. Then we can begin to address and improve our happiness. And this series actually was started because women I saw the statistic that women, up to 80% women, will fake their orgasms. And that tells me that there's something wrong with what we're doing in pleasure. As well, many, many women have a real rough time looking at themselves and feeling attractive. And so that's why I wanted to start doing this. And we've been doing lots of experts, Davy Ward, tantric specialist. I've had Lou Paget, authors, Dr. Pat Allen from Millionaire Matchmaker. So lots and lots of experts, but I've never had men on the show. And my assistant producer, Jarvis Essex, said, isn't it about time we had men on the show to give their side of their take on this whole aspect of pleasure? So I had him put a panel together for me. Actually, I called my buddy, producer and director, Victor Battle, and he put the call out to some of his acting and modeling clients. And so we had this cattle call that showed up on my doorstep. Here we go. We have 3 hot men in my studio, and I'm going to go around and ask you to introduce yourself and just a little bit about you. And I know I'm asking you to represent all men, but if you could give me, let's see, this would be interesting. Okay, so your name that you're using today, and then maybe your ethnic heritage, and how many women would you say you have dated or had a relationship with in your lifetime? So you don't have to give an exact number, but over 1,000, between 500 and 1,000, between 10 and 100, like a roughly about. Okay, and Clyde. I'm Clyde. Jarvis, you also have to do that. Clyde's parking. He's on his way. So here we go. Let's start to my right, and I have Ramon.
Yeah, my name is Ramon Espinal. I'm originally from Lynn, Massachusetts. My family's from the Dominican Republic. And I never really sat down and thought about how many women I've dated, to be honest with you.
Okay, like over 10?
Yeah, definitely over 10.
Okay, over 100?
I don't know if I did all
Okay,
that.
so somewhere between 80 and 100, let's say.
Yeah, we'll give it that.
Oh, we'll go there?
Give
okay.
or take.
All right. Cool. Next.
My name is Jimmy Everett. I'm originally from Washington State. I'm a Danish white boy. And I really don't know my number either, but probably between 10 and 100.
10 and 100, that's safe.
Yeah,
that's
safe number.
That's good. That's good. Welcome to the studio, by the way.
Thank you.
My name is Joshua Jimenez. I'm from Ventura County, beautiful town named Santa Paula, and I'm more on the conservative side, I guess. Mine have mostly been relationships, so more 4 or 5-ish.
4 or 5-ish?
Longer, relationship types. Yeah.
All right. And Jarvis?
And my name is Jarvis. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and I would say between 10 and 100 as well.
They're like all playing it safe. Nice.
And there's more where that came from. I hope you're laughing as much as I am, and continue to as I spotlight the interview of What Men Want here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. Audible, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Spotify, iTunes, and more, because this is a show about hope and happiness and pleasure, because I'm determined to make pleasure a G-rated topic. We're going to continue with my spotlight interview. Hopefully you are finding this as entertaining, illuminating, and fun as it is meant to be. Here is What Men Want. Continuing. Enjoy.
All right. And so let's start with the first question. And I know there's going to be differences between men age-wise. I'm not going to ask you. I try to pick you middling so that I don't look too much like a cougar. But so you're all, you're not young. But so the first safe question is, I have a lot of women listeners who complain that chivalry is dead. Okay, so opening doors, walking on the splash side of the sidewalk, paying for dinner, asking a girl out without texting them and saying, you want to hang out? Like you actually call and say, would you like to go out for dinner with me? And all of that. Is chivalry dead? Start with Josh.
I don't think it's dead. I think there's a lot of guys out there that do practice chivalry, and I think maybe some of it might be the type, maybe what the woman gives off. I think a lot of chivalry starts with how much respect the woman gives themselves.
So you're blaming it on us?
No. I'm saying that guys can only do, if it's a woman shows that she respects herself and is a strong woman, it almost forces a guy to be chivalrous because that's what kind of expected in a way, maybe.
So okay, if a woman's strong,
Mm-hmm.
you're saying that demands chivalry, or if a woman's acting more. Okay, let me give you a great example.
Okay.
I sit in the car, you're driving, and we get out of the car, and I sit in the car and wait for you to open my door. How long am I going to be waiting?
10 seconds.
10 seconds?
Yeah,
So you go open the door?
Yeah.
You go open the door?
Yeah.
Are you lying to me?
Especially if it's a date.
Especially why?
Especially on a date and you trying to impress somebody.
Okay.
I know, maybe my old lady now would probably say, yeah, right to me. And you will never open my door.
Oh, yeah, this could be going against you, right?
Yeah.
You're in a relationship now?
Yes, I am
Okay.
married.
And you're married?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been married?
6 years.
6 years. Okay. So did you open her doors before you got married, or
Well,
in
here's
that
the thing,
first?
The whole opening doors and all that other stuff. I mean, it's, to some people that might seem like something, but when me and her got together, we became friends real quick. I mean, so through that friendship, it was nothing for me to do nice things to her. So I don't know, it wasn't, or for her. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I had to go out of my way to, let me open this door, or let me do this.
So you went the friend route, so you didn't have to impress her. Is that what I mean?
I guess you could say that.
I'm teasing you. And now we're complete. My panel is complete. Someone was parking their car. Clyde Terry, welcome to the show. And I've had everybody say their name that I just said, yours, and your dating history and your heritage. So
my dating history, like
about how many women have you dated? We've had 10 to 100. We've had 80 to 100.
I don't know. I stopped counting at some point.
Okay, so 1,000. So we're at 1,000 with Clyde.
well, you have to, because it's all semantics, I guess. But when you talk about dating, I mean, I've dated a lot of, I guess, for the sake of whatever was going to happen next, we called it dating. But I could say like relationships. I've been in 5 relationships in my life.
Okay.
I've dated a lot of people for the sake of calling it something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 80 to 100.
I don't know, probably I stopped counting.
Okay, 500. We're up to 500. Okay, and African American is your heritage.
Yes.
Okay, and so now that our panel is complete, could you please give the men a round of applause? Welcome to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. Sexual healing series. I'm the new Asian Dr. Ruth. Okay, so here we go. You missed the first question. Is chivalry dead? I'm just going to go because we've got a limited time. The next one I'm going to ask is when do you want to have sex? So no, wait, that didn't sound I meant like if you're dating. Okay, so you meet a girl, right, and you like her, and you go on a date. How many dates do you think you should wait before you go in? Zero. Okay. Yes. So any woman, like all those, the rules book, right, and the Steve Harvey says 90 days. I think that's what he says, right? I say 3 dates. That's my magic number. Zero. Why zero?
Well, I mean, I say zero because it's all in up to another person's interpretation. Okay, so Steve Harvey says 90 days. Well, that's something that's a number that he just arbitrary number he just pulled out of the sky somewhere, right? So because here's the thing, a lot of things can happen in 90 days, but if you and I have this chemistry and the energy's there right now, I respect myself enough, and you respect yourself enough. I would assume when I say you, I mean in a general sense that a person will respect themselves enough that this is something you want to do. I mean, it's not like you're just some person flying off the handle, like I'm gonna just go screw everybody. If the energy's there, it's there, right? So why stop it because of somebody else's rule, right? Now, if you find out later, and like for me, I just come from the thought that why am I gonna spend 6 months getting to know your representative, right? Let me tell you who I am up front. You tell me who you are up front, and then if we vibe, we vibe. If we don't, we don't. Right? We could go 90 days and then end up having terrible sex, and then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm gonna get it from somebody else, right?
That moose just got put on the table, and I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I still got to pay the piper.
You are the piper.
Jim, why are you nodding?
I'd have to agree with him. I believe if the energy's there, you should just run with it. You never know. Like you wait 90 days, and like he said, you might not even have great sex, and then obviously you're gonna take a step back in that relationship and maybe want to move on. So you basically wasted 90 days of not being up front, then when you could have just got it done and out of the way and figured out where you're at in the relationship.
Okay. No. You don't want to say anything? Jarvis is not going to say anything. Come on, this was your idea. What are you saying? Are you saying anything?
Well, I agree with Clyde. I mean, if the energy is good, why wait? Put a time frame on, when you want to experience that.
I'll tell you why we put the time frame on. Because women, not all women, but I know there's a belief out there that if you give it up too quick, the guy is going to think that you give it up all the time, and you now have a label of being easy and loose. Okay, wait. Josh.
Yes.
Too many men here. No way, I didn't say that. I never say that. Okay, Josh.
Yes.
Respond to that.
Okay, yeah, I see that side of it. I think women look at sex differently than guys. It's more serious, kind of more sacred of a subject. And I think if you really like a person and things are really good, then you don't really have to rush it. And maybe it's sometimes good to take things slow when something's really serious, So I see in that way, if a girl were to give it up more quickly, a guy might interpret that as being maybe a sign is, okay, this is not that serious, maybe because of trends.
Do you interpret it that way?
I would, if I really liked a girl, I wouldn't mind seeing her make me wait a little bit, because you want to, yeah. I think it's okay. I mean, if it's going good and it happens, then I don't think it's a really horrible thing. But
doesn't it stay in your mind at all? Okay, so you're saying no, of course, to back up your story, and you're saying no to back up your story. But see, this is that thing. This is like, you cannot have it both ways. You cannot say a girl is loose if she sleeps with you on the first date, and at the same time, the woman can't say, or why can't a woman say, if you really respect me, you'll wait?
Well, we're not saying. I don't think that what Clyde is saying is
Exactly.
on the first date, because that's subjective. Say for instance,
He said zero. Zero
Well,
is the first date.
No, zero. No, what I'm saying is zero. There shouldn't be a time limit. It's whatever energy's there. And I let me just clarify this.
Okay.
I'm speaking of people from a higher state of consciousness, not just somebody out here running around and we're at the club and let me hit this because I can hit it, or somebody that I think is just an easy piece. I'm talking about people who are coming from a higher level of consciousness, thinking, so that when we're talking, there's an energy that exists. There's a synergy that exists when we're talking, and if that flows, then it flows. I'm not saying if you don't sleep with me the first day, I'm going to leave you, or I'm not going to mess with you. I'm just saying that if the energy's there and we're flowing, you're smart enough to know who you are. I'm smart enough to know who I am. But I would think this too, that you say, well, I would think that maybe there's something that I bring to this game, to this table, that has you want to sleep with me on the first day. Not that you sleep with everybody else, because I just think of myself as being somebody who taps into or unleashes taps into or unleashes that inhibition that another person has, that we can even communicate on a level that they would normally have. Like, they're like, wow, the conversations we're having, I've never had these kind of conversations with somebody. So it's from all of those different places. So it's not just let me hit it and see if I can get it the first night. It's not that. It's from a whole different place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ramon, without giving away what happened with your wife? You said you were friends with your wife first.
Yeah, we was actually real cool.
But comment on this. Yeah.
Well, it took. I mean, I didn't mind waiting for her,
Okay.
but at the same time, I didn't feel like waiting.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Did you wait?
Yeah, a little while.
A little while?
Yeah.
You didn't want to, but you did. Why? Because she asked you to.
It wasn't even a question. It's just like he said, you hang out with people, and then one day is the right day, and it just happens. So it's not like anybody's here counting tickets. Here goes this day.
Right. With that time frame. I hear that you have an issue with the time frame. Okay, I hear that. But the reality is, and I don't know which one of you said it, men and women, this is one of those huge gender differences. When you have sex, you can have meaningless sex. A higher percentage of men can have meaningless sex than women. I think. Hold on. Let me finish my thought. I believe, and I've been like live out loud, love out loud on this show. So my listeners who have been with me for 4 years know that I've come full circle on this, because I didn't think I could do meaningless sex. And then I thought, but life is short and let me try it. And then I've come full circle, because for most women, and Dr. Pat Allen talks about this a lot, is when we don't have orgasms if we're not emotionally intimate. Okay, most women, not all women, most, not your wife. No, not all. I'm going to be in trouble with your wife. So not all women, but I do believe that most of the women that I know, and I'm sure Kinsey Institute does studies on this, need to have some level of emotional or some intimacy, more so than the man. And I had David Beck, who's a high school teacher who teaches sex ed, on the show, and he keeps saying a young teen guy, that's all they want, and they'll say anything to get what they want. Now maybe that's an age thing, but if that's the difference, then it cannot be just either no number or some number. Do you get that? I mean, is that fair? Okay. Jarvis is like making a face. What's the face for?
I mean, explain what you mean. No number.
Well, okay, so he's the extreme right here. No, you don't want to have a guideline, because you go with the flow, and if it feels good, you should do it, and that's the standard. Okay, and I'm saying that for women, I'm going to speak on behalf of all the 3.5 billion women in the world. But most women, if things change after you have sex, And if you aren't intimate emotionally with a guy, which you cannot be on a first date if you just met them in a meetup or whatever, wherever you met them, you cannot have that kind of intimacy on an emotional level. You have physical or that lust, but then for a woman, most women, as soon as you have that sex, everything changes. For the guy, most guys, they have that sex and not everything changes. You just had sex and you had an orgasm, and hopefully she wasn't faking, if you can tell, and they had an orgasm and it was great. And if you feel like it, you go out again. If you don't feel like it, no harm, no foul. Is that fair? Like for most men, that's kind of like where you are. And for a woman, it's like, I meet a guy and I'm really attracted to him, and we go out and he picked up the check and he opened my door, and he's a great kisser, but I didn't want to think that I was loose or anything, but he's he wants it, but I can't wait for the next date, and I'm already thinking about is this the one that I'm gonna have kids with, and all of this other stuff, and once we have sex, and if you don't call, it's like, what did I do wrong, or what's wrong with you? So there's a whole different process that goes through with us that makes that first time so important. Will you agree to that? No. Who invited you on this panel anyway? Okay, you go.
I don't think about it. I wouldn't think that about a girl if she gave it up to me like at the first date. Like
honestly, you don't
because it's about us at this point, and I'm not thinking about the past. The past is the past. I don't care about her and other guys. I care about what we're doing now.
Then that's totally. I mean, I'm glad to hear it. I don't believe it, but I'm glad to hear it. Because that's what most women. I talked to my teenage daughter's friends, and we were on the way to breakfast, and she said, I can't. I want to have sex, but I'm not going to have sex because I'm afraid of what the guys will think of me. Mm-hmm. So, go figure. She's 17? No, doesn't happen.
No, I think, again, just coming from a higher level of consciousness, I mean, not to beat that in the ground, but it's just that, I think as Mel was saying here, that you're not, if you're looking for bottom feeders, you're going to find bottom feeders. Mm-hmm. So we're both adults. We both agreed into this. If I'm forcing you or making you feel like you're unworthy or something like that in order for you to carry out this act, then those points are valid. Okay. But when we're just talking about we're both mutually want to do this, we make this happen, then that's how it is. But I would think that any woman that I would be with, and any woman and any woman dealing with me would think that, wow, this dude is so much more than just sex, because there's something that got us there in the first place.
Okay.
Right.
So let me go back to that comment. Someone said it's not all about the sex, and it is all about the sex. So how much of a good relationship is about the sex? So how do you define how important sex is?
Yeah, that'll make or break the relationship.
Okay. So if you're not having, how many times a week would you say sex is like, when do you know you're in trouble?
Good sex, right?
Yeah, we're saying good sex. So let's define good sex. What's good sex? Put the moose on the table.
Good sex is, like you said, no faking it.
No faking it.
Please, I'm pleased. In the minute I get my break, I'm trying to go back.
Okay.
That type,
Okay, so it's obsessive.
I don't know about obsessive, but
okay, but it's healthy. I mean, it's in the top 3 things that are important in relationships.
Yeah, I think sex is
number 1.
Money.
Number 1. Number 2. Number 3.
I would say money first, sex
money
second.
First, sex second.
And then the loyalty between those two.
Okay. The loyalty. Okay. When you say money, what do you mean by that? Just curious.
Ain't nobody can't have fun if you broke.
Okay. So
relationship ain't gonna work if you're both broke.
Okay. So you have the money to play and sex.
Or at least the money to live and survive.
Okay. So Jim, how top 3?
Top 3, I would say my number 1 would be chemistry. You know, you got to have the good energy. You got to have, good things going
Okay.
between the two. Number 2, I would definitely say loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3, I would say communication. I think communication is huge between a relationship.
Okay. Clyde?
I would say communication, great sex chemistry. I would combine those two, and the third one would be responsibility, being with someone who's responsible, and that I'm responsible, so that we respect that relationship.
Okay. Josh?
I don't know about what number, but I think it's important because you go through a lot of ups and downs. So if that's bad too, it's kind of like, so I think it definitely would be a good glue to kind of help.
Yeah, I call it the glue
foundation.
too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. So the next question we are going to is, do you feel women play too many games? Do they play too many games? Let's start with Josh.
Okay. Yeah, maybe sometimes they're not as clear. Like us guys, we're definitely not mind readers, and we don't understand women most of the time. And so I think we need a little help. So as far as being clear, maybe a little games in that way, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna act this way so he don't think this or that or whatever. And we're just like, hey, we just want to know, do you like me or not? We're simple. So I think maybe the more complexity, like you were saying, think more complexity about the opposite sex, it might turn into like, yeah, I think a little bit maybe it would be good if women were more straightforward with men. Some women, some don't.
Right,
some do,
but here's the trick again. Here's that BS, that belief system that gets in the way. So I'm talking to my 15-year-old, and she's not had a relationship yet. And she's watching her sister, who's 17, having a good relationship, and the guys that she likes don't return the feelings, and the guys that like her, she doesn't feel the same way about them. And I told her, right or wrong, I said, it's weird, it's not right, but it's, if you go to them, if you make it known that you are attracted to them, they will back off. But if you play it cool, they'll come to you, or they will be more interested. Right or wrong? Not right or wrong, true or not true.
Depending on the person.
Depends on the person. Okay. How do you show a woman that you like the woman? Okay, this is a perfect question. Thank you. Because here's the deal. I'll cross someone in a hallway or something, and they'll look at me, and I'll look at them, and there will be this smile, and they won't do anything. They keep going, right? And I'm like, and then I'll sit there and say,
he might be doing
I
you a favor.
should. Okay. I like that answer. But it's like, if you really like a woman, you're going to do something, or are you afraid these days that women are so independent and so strong that you're expecting them to make the first move? Oh, perfect question. Thank you.
I don't never expect a woman to make the first move.
Okay.
The eye contact is pretty much, especially with women, I'm real straightforward.
Okay.
And I don't, not the type of, I get the response I don't want, that I'm going to be crushed afterwards. I had an old man tell me once, every no going to get you closer to a yes. So,
okay. So you're not afraid of no's?
Not at all.
Okay. Okay. Jim?
I really think it depends on the individual. I've met girls who are like aggressive and they'll come after me, or vice versa, you know what I mean? Or girls that will make the eye contact and expect me to do something. So I think it really just depends on the individual.
So have you ever not made a move when you were attracted to a woman? Every time you're attracted to a woman, you make a move?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No.
Why?
I have to admit, sometimes I might be scared, or think that maybe she doesn't want to talk to me, or maybe she's just being nice, So there's times that I have passed up opportunities.
And you regret it?
No. I've moved on. But I have found out before that girls that I liked actually liked me, but I never did anything about it. So you live and you learn. So
Right. Okay. Clyde?
So I would say, sometimes you see people and you go, wow, she's a beautiful woman. Mm-hmm. And that's it. It's nothing more, nothing less. It's just a passing thought, like, wow, she's a beautiful woman. And then, so it's not for me to do anything or for her to do anything. It's just acknowledging beauty, right? Mm-hmm. Or even acknowledging someone's energy, because you may see somebody who's not, like, aesthetically may not be attractive, but their energy is so beautiful that you see beauty in that person. You go like, wow, that person is beautiful, right? So I think I'm like with him is that I've seen women that I'm like, but then, just because the universe works that way, we've run into each other somewhere else, and it's like, wow, I saw you back there, I saw you in another life, or whatever, and
So it's got to be more than once for it to gel.
No, it's just like sometimes I'm like, I should go make that move now, and then it's like, nah, because either she's with her friends, or or this whatever, the time doesn't seem right. So then,
Are you off put when the woman makes the first move?
Not at all.
Not. Have you ever reciprocated? Like, have you ever not been interested in a woman and then the woman comes up to you and become interested, and vice versa? Have you ever been interested, but as soon as she was forward, become not interested? Josh?
No, definitely not.
So if a woman's interested, it's a good thing all the way around.
Oh yeah.
So if they have the balls, not literally,
yeah,
to go and say something.
Definitely.
Okay, women, you're listening to this, so no harm, no foul.
And if you would like to listen to the rest of that delightful interview with my guys, then go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, and you'll also get an alert every 8 a.m. in the morning when I come on to balance out all the bad news with good news. This is Dr. Marissa reminding you that it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace, reporting live from my living room during the pandemic, reminding you to have the best weekend ever.